Hello everyone, I'm Disha and today we have Dr. Vijita, a neurorehabilitation expert with us. Today we are here to talk about the role of management of neurorehabilitation in Parkinson's disease. According to WHO, there is an increased rate of deaths and disability in the world due to Parkinson's disease than any other neurological disorder. Hence, it is very important to talk about the management of Parkinson's disease with neurorehabilitation. Good morning, Dr. Vijita. So, can you please tell me about Parkinson's disease and what are the early signs and symptoms related to the disease?
Good morning, Disha. Thank you for inviting me for the show. So, Parkinson's is a progressive neurological disorder. Basically, if I talk in layman terms, then the area of the brain which controls the motor functions of the body, there's a chemical which releases in that part of the brain that is called dopamine. So naturally, the secretion of dopamine in the motor areas of the brain starts getting reduced, which is the main cause of Parkinson's. So Parkinson's cannot be cured because it is a progressive neurological disorder. The only way it can be maintained is through the medicines, through medications like levodopa and carbidopa, and through rehabilitation.
Okay. And can you please tell us further about what are the key points to have a timely diagnosis of this disease?
Yeah. So Parkinson's can be genetic, but it can also be have an idiopathic cause. Like nobody with a family history can also have Parkinson's. So basically, the first symptoms of Parkinson's may be slight tremor in the hands, dragging of the feet while walking, or there is general slowness in movements. But basically, because these are symptoms which might be related to orthopedic issues, so people generally have the concept of this being an orthopedic sign and they visit the orthopedicians at this point of time. But I would like to tell them that if you experience any such kind of symptoms, discomfort, then you should first visit the neurologist for them to conduct specific series of tests. They will be subjecting you to questionnaires which might help them to come to a conclusion that you have Parkinson's, and so they will so the timely diagnosis of the disease is possible.
Okay.
The early signs and symptoms, if I talk about, is like what I told: slight tremors in the hand, dragging of the feet, slowness of movement, which progresses to a lot of things if not diagnosed at the right time.
Okay, so you gave us an idea about the diagnosis and signs and symptoms related to it. So I would like to ask you further that once this disease is being diagnosed, then how can we timely manage it?
So, as I said, the medications play a very important role. They help to maintain the level of dopamine in the brain, and so the progression of the disease is slow after that. But whatever said and done, as I said, this is a progressive disorder. There are a lot of side effects with the medication. The patient might experience a lot of drowsiness, and if the medications once started are not taken on time, then there are also possibilities of the symptoms getting aggravated. In that case, the main thing which helps is rehabilitation. So rehabilitation always helps to delay the progression of the disease. So with rehabilitation, you can delay the rigidity in the muscles, because the motor functions are slow, so the muscles become rigid, and once the muscles become rigid, then it is very difficult for the patient to move about freely or independently. So rehabilitation helps to decrease the muscle rigidity. It helps to maintain the balance and coordination. It helps to prevent the aggravation of tremors. Because Parkinson's progresses, so it also affects the vital functions of the body. So breathing exercises helps to maintain the breathing patterns in the body. Then there are facial exercises involved, because facial masking is a major sign of Parkinson's in the later stages. So facial exercises help to reduce the facial masking which occurs with the disease as it progresses.
Okay. So this was quite informative, and as you mentioned in the information given, that you mentioned about the word progression of disease. So can you tell us a bit more about it? Are there any kind of stages involved, or what is like progression of disease?
See, medically, Parkinson's can be put under 5 stages. The early stages, as I told you, it might be just slight symptoms. So from the stage 1 to the stage 2, it takes many years for that progression to happen. So if we diagnose it timely, then obviously the progression will get slow. But if I just classify generally the progression in these 5 stages, the patient from slight tremors can lead to a stage where the patient is completely dependent on the wheelchair. There is no movement at all. What happens in between these stages is that the tremors finally progress to a stage where you cannot even hold a glass of water, or the balance and coordination gets disturbed so much that you might even have frequent falls, and living independently, living alone becomes really difficult. Then there is hallucinations, there is confusions in the brain, and finally the patient might get to a stage where he or she is completely dependent on wheelchair, or there is no mobility at all. At that point of in stage 4, scientists have even started to do the deep brain stimulation techniques, though the evidence of that giving results in Parkinson's patient is still to come. But yes, stage 4, the patient is subjected to DBS. Anyways, the progression, if the patient continues rehabilitation, then he or she can maintain a very dignified lifestyle throughout.
Sure. So this is how the disease progresses. If it is not treated timely, it can lead to the condition of the patient where he or she is wheelchair ridden. So for concluding with this session, I would like to ask you that what are the benefits of neurorehabilitation in a nutshell for treating the Parkinson's disease, like how overall it can help?
So the patient, if subjected to rehabilitation, can expect outcomes like decrease in rigidity of the muscles, increased balance and coordination which is maintained, increased independency in the activities of daily living, facial masking is reduced, there is massive improvement in the lung function capacity, and the side effects of medicines, that is the hallucination or kind of drowsiness, is also controlled if the patient undergoes regular rehabilitation throughout his life once Parkinson's is diagnosed with him.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dr. Vijita. So it was quite an informative session, and we got to know about quite a few things regarding the management of Parkinson's disease with neurorehabilitation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.